President Trump will be back in court this morning for day 6 of his New York hush money trial. But before testimonies continue, there will be a hearing on whether the former president violated his gag order. Brooke Singman is here with more. Hi, Brooke.
Hey, Carly. Yeah, trial resumes this morning at 9:30 Eastern when the judge will hear arguments from prosecutors who say former President Trump violated his gag order. Now, the gag order prohibits Trump from talking about witnesses and jurors involved in the hush money case, but the DA's office says Trump violated the gag order 10 times by posting to social media about people connected to the case. Now, the prosecution is asking the court to not only fine the former president $1,000 per violation, but also hold him in contempt of court. Trump has repeatedly called for the gag order to be dropped, saying it's unfair for people to attack him without allowing him to respond. And Trump's attorney says this all boils down to the election. Listen.
The Democrats claim that Trump is a threat to democracy. The real threat to democracy is the willingness to abuse the power of your office to influence what should otherwise be a free and fair election. And that's exactly what's going on downtown in the courtroom. I mean, look at just this week. You've got a hearing in a civil case about essentially nothing. You've got a criminal trial starting, and later this week there'll be a Supreme Court argument, all in cases that were made up specifically for the purpose of influencing the outcome of an election.
If the gag order hearing is not finished by 11, it will be continued at a later date. Jurors will not be brought in until after that hearing. Then the prosecution's first witness, David Pecker, will continue his testimony after taking the stand for less than 30 minutes yesterday. So Pecker is the former publisher of the National Enquirer and testified about using so-called checkbook journalism to pay for stories that boosted former President Trump ahead of the 2016 election. Now, he's expected to tell the jury about conversations he allegedly had with Trump about hush money payments that were allegedly made to cover up negative stories about him. The trial wrapped up earlier than expected on Monday after a juror had an emergency dentist appointment. Court is expected to wrap up at 2 p.m. today.
If you jail me, I'll become stronger than you can possibly imagine.
Oh, man, okay. Some Spaceballs meme action. Let's do a little bit of a light tenor to today's show because it is, in fact, a dark show. We live in dark times, and today is Tuesday, April 23rd, 2024. Trump faces jail. Right now, this is ongoing. We have updates from inside of the courtroom we will bring to you as this Trump-hating, psychotic judge who is a Biden donor, whose daughter works for Kamala Harris, is getting to decide if Donald Trump goes to prison for violating a gag order. How is any of this legal? It's not. Did anybody ever sit back and say, no, I actually know this is legal? Democrats attempt to strip Donald Trump of Secret Service, meaning they're pushing an assassination attempt on Donald Trump, because what do you think is going to happen if Donald Trump goes to prison in Rikers Island without any Secret Service? What do you think will happen? So Democrats want Trump assassinated. Mike Davis joins the show, the man who may be the Attorney General under Trump 2.0. My name is Benny Johnson, and this is The Benny Show. As a father of 3 young children, I got to tell you, it's tough to sleep. We got a 6-month-old, and 6-months-old, you don't really know when to sleep or when to be awake, and so you're up all night. That is, ladies and gentlemen, tough sometimes, especially in the morning. It is why I plow coffee and caffeine directly into my veins as fast as possible. But when I'm going to bed, what do I use? I use Beam, ladies and gentlemen. Beam Dream Sleep Powder helps me go to bed and stay asleep. The stuff is delicious and easy part of my nighttime routine. I add it to my smoothie at night. You can use the QR code on your screen to get up to 35% off. Shopbeam.com/Benny. Scanning the QR code, entering the code Benny, grab some best-selling flavors. This is how I drift off to sleep and stay asleep. For the other half of my marriage, you're just gonna have to check with my wife because she's up a lot during the night. But you don't have to be. Go to shopbeam.com/Benny. Shopbeam.com/Benny. All right. So somebody who's not sleeping well is, I can't imagine they're sleeping well, is this psychotic judge in the Trump trial. Now, we're getting news right now, and it is live breaking news at this very second. Donald Trump is inside of the courthouse, and this judge, Juan Merchan, is getting ugly. I mean, honestly, apparently this guy's starting to scream at Donald Trump, starting to bark orders at Donald Trump, getting his rocks off on the leftist psychosexual fantasy of putting Donald Trump in prison. And this guy is a complete lunatic. And here are some of the reports directly from the court this morning. Justin Juan Merchan is starting to show his bias in the case, attacking Trump attorney Todd Blanche multiple times. During the gag order argument, Blanche has argued that all of Trump's posts were just him publicly defending himself. This is the gag order argument going on currently right now. The judge may decide to put Donald Trump in prison during this show. We are live right now. It may happen during this show. Trump handcuffed, brought in jail. You think the mugshot's iconic? It may happen. Apparently, the judge is throwing tantrums from the bench. I'm asking the questions. I'm going to be the one who decides whether your client is in contempt, shouted Judge Merchan. And then when Trump's attorney started to defend Donald Trump, he screamed, "When your client violates a gag order, I expect more than one word." Does anybody actually believe that Trump will get a fair trial? Now, look at the eyes of this man. The eyes never lie. The eyes are called the window to the soul. They're called the window to the soul for a reason. Look at this person. Look at the unblinking, psychotic nature of these people. You can always tell. You can always tell. Look into the eyes. That's why Joe Biden actually creeps me out so much. You ever seen a photo of Joe Biden? You ever seen a photo of Joe Biden up close? Like you can't really like see the eyes, right? Like, they do the show like that. Would you watch if I did the show like that? No, you would not. Alex, can you grab that side by side that you sent in earlier of the two different Joe Bidens? That's the thing that creeps you out about these people. You can always tell. It's called crazy eyes. All right. It's called crazy eyes. Or with Joe Biden, it's called Joe Biden number 2 and Joe Biden number 7, because there's no way this is the same person. There's no way. No way this is the same person. I just didn't take a little trip down memory lane here. Not the same guy. I'm not saying this guy in a rubber suit. I'm saying that the guy on the right is clearly pumped full of very different drug cocktails than the guy on the left. But either way, you look deep into the blackened pupils there and you don't see any soul. You see somebody who's a vicious, seething, tense tyrant who's really excited to lock up his political enemies. Joe Biden will actually be in Tampa today. We look forward to asking about this during Joe Biden's visit. I don't think we'll get a chance to actually confront Joe Biden in any elevator, or I don't think they'll let us into the event. But, ladies and gentlemen, we'll have plenty of conversations outside of the event with Joe Biden supporters, if there are any. I've never found one. Never found one. Have you ever seen a Joe Biden supporter? Have you ever found one in the wild? Like finding a dodo bird, right? Like a white buffalo. It doesn't exist, but they're definitely white, whatever they are. White, old, psychotic, Upper East Side leftists fill and pack the court. The jury pool is made up, of course, of far left-wing radicals who have actually taken themselves off the jury pool. I've never seen anything like it. There've been like half a dozen people who were picked for the jury pool here and decided that they are biased against Donald Trump, so they bowed out. So, ladies and gentlemen, reporting from inside of the courtroom, not looking good for Donald Trump this morning. A bad morning in the courts, according to the Daily Mail. Hearing over whether Trump will be held in contempt over the hush money trial. Judge Juan Merchan eviscerated the former president's lead attorney, Todd Blanche, over 10 posts prosecutors say violate the gag order. After the contempt hearing, former National Enquirer publisher David Pecker will return to the stand to finish his testimony on the catch and kill tabloid post, but who cares? Again, this is a common tactic. Again, it's really important for people to understand, if you weren't born yesterday, nuisance lawsuits and the consolidation of a news story, via publishers. This is exactly what they did with Hunter Biden laptop stuff, right? Like in what universe is this? In what universe? One, it's very different because it wasn't the intel agencies doing this, but it's a common practice for celebrities. This is what happened. Nuisance lawsuits. This is a normal thing. Now, Stormy Daniels denied this affair ever happened. Donald Trump denies this affair ever happened. So who the hell cares? Like, quite frankly, it's irrelevant. It's beyond the statute of limitations. It's a misdemeanor that has been undergirded and bootstrapped by some type of underlying felony, like federal felony, nobody can enumerate. And now even the New York Times is coming out against. I mean, it's really, really a remarkable timeline we're living in. The New York Times is now coming out against the prosecution of Donald Trump in this case, saying that it's going to help Donald Trump. And we think that there's a great argument there, actually, for that. Judge tears into Trump lawyer for claiming ex-president didn't violate gag order when he reshared stories on social media. So there it is. That's the last update from inside the courtroom. We wish we could bring it to you live. We'd love nothing else than to bring you this live. But unfortunately, they don't allow cameras in the courthouse. They do allow cameras outside of the courthouse. And Donald Trump and his lawyer, a spokesperson for the campaign, Alina Habba, was on fire yesterday. Alina Habba was like getting the flamethrower out outside of the court yesterday, talking about what the state of New York is doing to Donald Trump. This went viral. Alina Habba, obviously friend of the show, going in, melting the TV cameras. Here we go.
Lawyers here today. He should not even be here today because he did nothing wrong. It is the epitome of a witch hunt. I just left where a judge asked us whether our cash bond, sitting in. Miss James wanted to argue and say that our cash somehow isn't green enough. We wasted time. The judge made a comment saying he thought that money market accounts could go down under the amount. He doesn't even understand basic principles of finance, but this was the man that decided that we owed money and my client committed fraud. We are going to attack every single one. 1 hour, the Attorney General and that judge realized quickly that they had no idea what they were talking about. We came to an agreement that everything would be the same, we would modify terms, and that was it. This is where your taxpaying dollars are going, America. Right here. Witch hunt after witch hunt. President Trump's company was worth more in that case than it is now. And now what? We're here because of something that happened when he was in the White House that wasn't even wrong. It was not wrong. You hire lawyers to solve problems, lawyers solve those problems, you pay them. That's it. This is a joke. It's an affront to the American Constitution. It's an affront to our judicial system. And it's an affront to every lawyer that cares about their license, that cares about what is right and wrong. I am sick of coming in front of the press and saying this, but you have to because you people need to understand what is going on. God forbid you put an accounting thing in for legal counsel. It's legal counsel. And now our taxpayer dollars, my time, our attorney's fees, are all here because they're afraid of 2024. And you know what? They should be because the American people are not stupid. They see what's going on. Thank you.
We said this yesterday. Donald Trump once said, I only hire the best people. And that's not a good Trump impersonation. Hold on. I only hire the best people. We disagree with Donald Trump on some of the hires. I'm going to be quite honest with you. Mike Pence is one of them. But when it comes to Alina Habba, man, you've done good. You did a great job. She's a fantastic spokesperson for Donald Trump. Donald Trump is a great spokesperson for Donald Trump. It is really important, obviously, to let Trump and his team speak. We do so on our program. They're trying to silence him, obviously. They're using legal means to do that and fake bullshit charges to do that. Again, I will repeat that Donald Trump is being defended by the New York Times. How insane are these charges? The New York Times, I'll read it to you. The New York Times is coming out against this trial in New York, saying you are making a martyr of this man, and you will destroy our city by doing so, because nobody's ever going to put their business in New York ever again. And we're seeing that all the way down. Shark Tank, Kevin O'Leary. Well, why would you ever take a step back? Why would you invest in Caracas? Okay. So Caracas, before communist revolution, Venezuela used to be one of the top landing spots for expats and American investment. Ton of oil there, beautiful city, beautiful mountainside, and amazing. Kind of like the ocean, the water. Venezuela has a lot of nice stuff going on. Before the communist revolution, Cuba also one of those places. Well, Cuba was going to be the 51st state. It's right off the, right offshore. Okay, so much investment. What happens to those places? Well, they're eating zoo animals in Caracas now. I can't get toilet paper. We went to Cuba and did a documentary a couple of years ago gas lines. No one can get food, vouchers. Like nobody, like everyone living in like a decrepit, crumbling empire. There's no investment. Why? Why would anyone invest? Why would anyone invest in these Marxist hellholes? Because the government can just take anything that you build, take all of your money, take anything. You build a shop, government takes it. You build a business, government takes it. You do anything, government takes it. That's disincentivizing investment. And that's exactly what's happening in New York. And they're starting to like realize, and this is the year of 2024, the effing around and the finding out. There are so many years, this is the cycle of life, okay? The great wheel of time. We went through the F around season, and now we're in the finding out season, okay? And New York is even finding out. We view it as our obligation to obviously have Alina Habba on the show. Mike Davis is going to join the show, ardent Trump defender. It's our obligation to play Donald Trump when he speaks because he's getting so few opportunities to speak. So here is Donald Trump's statement outside of the court today as the judge is ongoing, may handcuff Donald Trump live on the show. We do not know. Of course, we don't want that. Donald Trump may want that, and I'll show you that in just a moment. But here's Donald Trump from moments ago.
So thank you very much. It's a big day in Pennsylvania, and we hope the people get out there and vote. It's important to vote to let them know that we're coming on November 5th. We're coming big. Today is preliminary, but still it's very important. And maybe they'll think also about a very good person who's running for the Senate in Pennsylvania, Dave McCormick. And he's doing a good job. He's working very hard, successful man, wants to put his success to the country. He'll be a very good senator. So hopefully they'll be behind Dave and get out there and vote today. So Pennsylvania, get out and vote. What's going on at the college level and the colleges, Columbia, NYU, and others is a disgrace. And it's really on Biden. He has the wrong signal. He's got the wrong tone. He's got the wrong words. He doesn't know who he's backing. And it's a mess. And if this were me, he'd be after me. He'd be after me so much, but they're trying to give him a pass. And what's going on is a disgrace to our country. And it's all Biden's fault, and everybody knows it. He's got no message. He's got no compassion. He doesn't know what he's doing. He can't put two sentences together, frankly. He is the worst president in the history of our country. And again, what's going on is a disgrace. Now, it's interesting outside for great Americans, people that want to come down and they want to protest at the court, and they want to protest peacefully. We have more police presence here than anyone's ever seen. For blocks, you can't get near this courthouse. And yet you have nobody up at a college where you have very radical people wanting to rip the colleges down, the universities down. And that's a shame. But it all starts with Joe Biden. The signals he puts out are so bad. And I can tell you, he's no friend of Israel, that's for sure. And he's no friend of the Arab world either. You take a look at what he said. He's no friend of, he doesn't know what to do. He doesn't know what to do. He wants to take like a middle ground, and oftentimes that doesn't work, but it's certainly not working here. But what he's done to Israel is abandon them. And he's trying to be as nice as he can to the other side. Call it the Arab world, but that's not working either because they get him. And he's an incompetent man. Peace will never happen with a guy like this. Thank you very much.
I am in favor of Donald Trump shutting down New York City and throwing a MAGA rally in the center of New York City every single day. That's what Donald Trump should do. I mean, he effectively did it at the bodega the other day and had the streets of Harlem lined up, coming out, cheering for him. Meanwhile, Joe Biden, in his own hometown, have like little kids flipping him off and people screaming FJB at Joe Biden. In his hometown of Scranton, can't even pack like the teeny little auditorium that he was in. Donald Trump should host a MAGA rally every day. And why do we play you Donald Trump's full commentary? Because he doesn't get a chance to speak. And more importantly, there's this trend with all corporate media to speak over him, to talk over Trump, or to manipulate or warp what he's saying. And so this is our opportunity to effectively just let the president and his lawyers speak, ladies and gentlemen. A lawyer who worked with Donald Trump hand in glove and delivered Donald Trump a conservative Supreme Court is Mike Davis. Again, Mike Davis joining us very soon to have commentary on this. Mike Davis, a free man. Donald Trump may not be a free man. Again, this judge is a lunatic. I am like ravenously refreshing the article here, saying now the judge returns to the bench after a short break ahead of David Pecker's second round of testimony, because there's live reporting from, obviously, live TikTok from inside of the courthouse with Donald Trump. And if the judge decides that he violated the gag order, the judge could jail him today. Donald Trump, a week ago, said, "Jail me," on Truth Social. Donald Trump said, "I will gladly become the modern day Nelson Mandela. It would be my great honor. We have to save our country. These political operatives masquerading as prosecutor judges. I'm willing to sacrifice my freedom for a worthy cause. We are a failing nation, but on November 5th, we will become a great nation." Something really interesting in the Joe Rogan podcast, Tucker Carlson said, you should only vote for the person that's willing to die for his country. We used to have a history where a bunch of people who fought in wars served this country. Teddy Roosevelt, great president, right? You have JFK fought in war. Nixon fought in war. These are great men. Ike Eisenhower, obviously. Where you had people who served their nation. And now we're run by a bunch of draft dodgers. Every person who's held power over the last 30 years has been a draft dodger. George Bush, Bill Clinton, Mitt Romney, John Kerry, all of them draft dodgers. Joe Biden's a draft dodger. Joe Biden was military aged in the 70s. Joe Biden was military aged in the 1770s. Joe Biden did not vote to ratify the Constitution. Hate that Constitution. Hate that document. He was around. He remembers. Joe Biden could have served in the military. The entire country is being run by these cowards who are draft dodgers who never served anything. Tucker Carlson saying you should only elect somebody who's willing to die for their country. That's a true patriot. And here Donald Trump is saying, yes, I am willing to sacrifice my freedom for a worthy cause. Says a billionaire, one of the wealthiest and inarguably the most famous man on earth right now, is saying this. Saying that he'll run from prison. He'll be Nelson Mandela. Put me in chains, Trump says. Is the judge going to do it today? I mean, this is real as a heart attack. The judge could absolutely live out the psychosexual fantasy of every lib and put Donald Trump in chains today. He could do it. Will it backfire? Yeah. Yes. The only reason they haven't done it, actually, is because of how terribly it will backfire. But it could happen. We asked Alina Habba on our show a few days ago what that would look like, Donald Trump running for president from jail. We asked directly based on, Donald Trump saying he'll do it. Here's what she had to say. Donald Trump has said on Truth Social he'd be happy to run for president from prison, and he thinks it'd make him Nelson Mandela. Yeah. And I wonder what your thoughts are on that.
He's told me that. Yeah, he's told me that. He said it's like Nelson Mandela. He's not wrong. The one time he said it to me actually was I was in court, and I remember him saying the same thing. And he says that, and he means it. I think he is the victim of political prosecution, and selective prosecution is what we call it legally. And that's when you target somebody because you don't like what they stand for, or you target them because they're your opponent in some regard or a threat to you. And that is what is happening. How can you say it's not?
So they may do it. They may do it. We don't know. Alina Habba, clearly very, very close with Donald Trump, is like, he tells me that all the time. She shrugs it off and laughs. He tells me that all the time. Donald Trump up on Truth Social. Hey, yo, Trump says I will run for president from jail. I will be the Nelson Mandela. If you don't understand the context there, presumably you do, but if you don't, Nelson Mandela was a South African leader who's jailed for, I think, close to 30 years. Long time. He ran for president from jail and then became like a worldwide phenomenon. One of the greatest political stories of all time. Obviously, absent the results, things in South Africa have gotten really, really bad. But nonetheless, this is the reason that he became a one of these iconic world leaders, was that he ran against these corrupted political systems that locked up their political enemies. And this is the only part of the strategy that I have a problem with. All right. And this is something that bubbled up to the surface last week. A story that I think is the scariest story of 2024. There's been a lot. We cover a lot of weird stuff going on in 2024, but this is truly horrific. The Democrats are plotting through legislation assassination. They're going to plan to legally kill Trump. They say it, okay? They say it. Now let's begin, all right, with the various times when Democrats have openly, through a microphone, talked about killing Trump, including, but not limited to, the first day Trump was in office. So Trump had been in office 24 hours, and on the National Mall, this happens.
Yes, I have thought an awful lot about blowing up the White House.
Yeah, okay. Thought a lot about blowing up the White House, says one of the most famous pop stars on planet Earth. Just a few blocks from the White House. Did anything happen to her? Any knocks from the Secret Service? Any of the FBI coming to kick down Madonna's door? Like that's a far bigger, more direct threat than the tens of thousands of people on January 6th. But yeah, sure, Madonna getting not only that, like Slay Queen, like everyone applauds her. I've thought about blowing up the White House. Now, let's move on to the direct action. Here's a story from February 2020, when a man walked right up to the Secret Service of the White House and said, "I'm going to kill Trump." He brandished a knife, walked straight up to the Secret Service and said, "I'm here to kill Donald Trump." And the man, thankfully, was arrested by Secret Service. It was a Florida man outside of the White House on Saturday, threatened to assassinate Trump. This man approached Secret Service officers and said, "I am here to assassinate Trump," he said, according to CNN, reading from a Metropolitan Police Department report. The Secret Service says at no point was Trump in danger, thankfully, because there's big fences outside of the White House. But this man's plan was to take his knife, which they then found on his person, and to kill Trump. And he straight up said it. This happened all the time and continues to happen. That's just random crazy guy. What about state actors? There are a lot of nations that would probably like for Donald Trump to die. Iran is one of them. Remember Donald Trump killed their general and effectively put Iran back into the 7th century. Check this out. FBI is hunting for Iran's would-be assassin who targeted Trump. Oh, so Iran is paying for people to go kill Trump. There's literally, can we scroll down through the article here? There's a FBI flyer that says, "Hey, we got a guy. Here's his name, Majid. Good old Majid is an Iranian agent who's paying for assassins to go kill Trump and Trump officials." This is the FBI saying, "Hey, please help us out. We got assassinations, like people coming for our president." This is a state actor. State actors have lots of cash and capital, resources, espionage tactics to get things sorted out and to get things figured out. And this is our own FBI saying this. So I only say that, obviously not to saber rattle, fear monger or whatever. I say that to put into stark relief the constant threat that Donald Trump is under, and pretty much every president's under. Okay, right? So you would never argue, no matter what I think of Joe Biden or Bill Clinton or Barack Obama, and I think they're horrible. And I think they're wrecking the country, and I think they're all of those men are have committed heinous crimes against humanity, right? Donald, Barack Obama drone strike murdered an American citizen, a 16-year-old kid without trial. Just killed him. Just killed him. Nobody even asks questions about that. Bill Clinton, go read the Epstein files if you care about what Bill Clinton did. But yeah, crimes against humanity, man. Anyway, I would never argue that they don't need Secret Service protection because there's horrible people living in the world. But Democrats are now arguing that Donald Trump must lose his Secret Service protection if he ever goes to jail. Is this the plot? They could jail Donald Trump today, and as we speak, there is legislation in the House to strip Donald Trump of Secret Service when he goes to prison. if he goes to prison. If he goes to prison. So if Democrats are able to concoct this thing, they're going to take away his Secret Service, so Donald Trump will just be in the public prison environment. Got it? Let's read. Prominent House Democrat has introduced new legislation that would strip felons of Secret Service protection, specifically mentioning former President Donald Trump, in case you're wondering who this is about. Mississippi Representative Benny Thompson, the guy who ran the January 6th sham investigation, ranking member of the House Committee on Homeland Security, is bringing forth something called the Disgraced Act, which would terminate Secret Service protection for individuals convicted of state or local felonies. Trump, who's first of 4 criminal trials involving hush money payments and alleged falsified records prior to the 2016 federal election, specifically mentioned by Thompson as somebody whose protection privileges will be affected if he is found guilty. So the bill pertains to people who are punishable in terms of imprisonment of at least 1 year, and this is a way to strip Donald Trump of Secret Service. So this is effectively the way to ensure the Donald Trump assassination. They're doing it. They're doing it right in front of our own faces. They're doing it in front of our own eyes. Hey, Alex, can you grab that CNN clip of all the Secret Service agents? That CNN clip of all those Secret Service agents fighting off the leftist horde? We have the clip. Like, we can show you what actually happened in the real insurrection on May the 20th at the White House. I would know because I was there. My office at the time was just up the road, and I walked by these people. I watched these people attack Secret Service, attack the cops, violently, viciously burn down buildings at the White House. We can just do this as a play-beside. Burn down buildings at the White House with the sole intent of killing Donald Trump. They said so. They attacked. So there's over 100 Secret Service officers injured to fight off the left-wing orcs who attacked the White House, burned down buildings with their stated goal of killing Donald Trump. It was all caught on CNN's cameras. You can see the officers fighting here, ladies and gentlemen, as, again, the orcs attempted to assassinate Trump. This is while he was in the White House. And now they want to take Donald Trump's Secret Service away for the stated goal of letting probably elements that are far worse than these people who are actively on your screen fighting Secret Service. They, like, these people, they want to let Donald Trump, they want to throw Donald Trump to these people. But arguably criminally worse. The MS-13 gang members that Donald Trump locked up, yeah, they want Donald Trump to be in that public prison environment. Look at them fight the Secret Service. This is what they want to strip Donald Trump of. This protection. This is the plan. This is obviously the plan. Tucker Carlson has stated multiple times that the goal is to assassinate Trump. I just didn't know, like, how they'd strategically play it out. Here's Tucker.
What do you think the future holds? Is it...
I don't know.
I mean, are they going to let Trump be president?
No, of course. I mean, look, if, they protested him, they called him names. He won anyway. They impeached him twice on ridiculous pretenses. They fabricated a lot about what happened on January 6th in order to impeach him again. It didn't work. He came back. Then they indicted him. It didn't work. He became more popular. Then they indicted him 3 more times. And every single time his popularity rose. So if you begin with criticism, then you go to protest, then you go to impeachment, now you go to indictment, and none of them work, what's next? I mean, graph it out, man. We're speeding toward assassination, obviously, and no one will say that, but I don't know how you can't reach that conclusion. You know what I mean? Like, they have decided, permanent Washington, both parties have decided that there's something about Trump that's so threatening to them, they just can't have him.
So far be it for us to question Tucker, but we can just put the pieces together here on the table. Donald Trump violates gag order, gets thrown in jail, Democrats strip him of Secret Service through legislation, and there's your legalized Trump assassination by legislation. There you go. That's your plan. Which side are you on? Which side are you on? Again, I think that Bill Clinton, the living Democrat presidents, Bill Clinton, Joe Biden, Barack Obama, that all of them are criminals, and I think that all of them should be convicted. I think that they've committed crimes against humanity, among many other things, unspeakable crimes. Bill Clinton, the Epstein documents, the victims of Epstein say Bill Clinton liked him young. That's what they said. Those are in the court documents. Those are public records. That's what people heard during the non-trial trial with Epstein. That's what they said. Sorry if that offends you, but that's what the victims said. Believe all women, right? Right. Madonna was speaking at the Women's March with the Believe All Women with her pussy hat on. I wonder if she believes that woman. Somebody should ask Madonna. Great thing to ask. We asked Alex Jones about the assassination. Alex Jones has been shockingly right about some of the darkest, most horrifying days in American history. And Alex Jones said this to us a few weeks ago about a pending Donald Trump assassination.
The controlled left does that nobody watches or listens to really anymore that has an IQ above room temperature. They're like, oh, yeah, someone will kill Trump. Ridiculous. That assassination is part of statecraft throughout history. And if they have somebody kill Trump, that can create division between left and right. And then also, I think if they do kill Trump, they're going to kill Biden or try. And then that makes Biden a liability, a martyr. And so, yeah, if you look at the trajectory of everything they're doing failing and it getting more cartoonesque by the day, I think it is in the cards. They got the hit teams ready. Believe me, the deep state has got teams ready to kill Trump, ready to kill Biden. Will they do it by poison? Will they shoot him in the public? They may go the poison route, or they may just go spectacular public execution, claim a left-winger did it, then claim, Trump supporters did a truck bomb in response. We're not in Kansas anymore. The control.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, we do have breaking news. Wanted to comment on that Alex Jones clip because I think that we figured it out. Alex Jones saying he's not going to sure how they're going to do it. Poison or shoot him. Like, here it is. Here it is. The judge has decided not to decide on the gag order violation for the time being. This is the breaking news out of the trial, broke seconds ago. The combative hearing on Trump's allegation violations of the judge's limited gag order ended with the judge saying that he will not rule from the bench on the district attorney's motion to hold Trump in contempt. A ruling will come later. So there you go. The ruling will come later if they want to put Donald Trump in prison. These sick monsters. And we say sick monsters, they're proud of being sick monsters. These people are despicable. The only time that they were ever called out to their faces about being friends of Epstein was Ricky Gervais at the Oscars. A Oscars host, actually, from the year 2024, a guy just hosted the Oscars, Jimmy Kimmel, literally just did a live-action role play on his show of how Trump would die in prison. Yup, that's right. In case you're wondering how much of a psychosexual fantasy this is for these people, here it is. Guy just hosted the Oscars. Here he is.
Okay, so now let's pretend this is his first day of prison, okay? And you guys can come in the area.
Hey, everybody, it's me, Donald Trump.
You're gonna roll with me. I got the knife. Don't talk to the police.
Okay. I can't talk to you anymore. Give me a kiss.
Get away. Grab my pepper spray.
Ah!
We're gonna pull up on this guy.
I love your flesh-colored underwear.
That would not be the right thing to say to someone.
And what are you doing over here?
Kicking your ass.
Hey, I told you I would protect him.
Hey, what's going on over here? Hey, get down. Everyone get down.
Get down on the floor, inmate.
Yeah, but I can't get back up.
Donald.
All right, well, what did we learn here?
You got to find someone to protect you, right?
I was going to say we wasted a lot of money on action figures.
So there you go. Donald Trump, action figure, guy with a knife, coming after Trump, stabbing him. This is what's considered comedy on the left, along with what's going on in the courthouse today. Somebody who's not laughing But somebody who, we couldn't think of a better person to comment on this travesty of justice is the great Mike Davis, founder of the Article 3 Project, and the man responsible for Donald Trump's Supreme Court. Will trials like this end up at the Supreme Court? Well, most likely. Mike Davis joins the show. Mike, the left is engaging in a psychosexual fantasy of putting Trump in jail. It may happen. The judge just said he's gonna ponder whether putting Trump behind bars is what he's gonna do for violating the gag order. And now Democrats are actively trying to strip Donald Trump's Secret Service away. So it seems like assassination via legislation. Maybe I'm reading this wrong.
So let's look at what they're doing here. You have this Soros-funded Manhattan DA, this Democrat DA, Alvin Bragg, bring in these bogus charges against Trump based upon a legal theory that was rejected by the prior Manhattan DA, Cy Vance, the Manhattan U.S. Attorney, the Federal Election Commission, and Alvin Bragg himself, until Matthew Colangelo got deployed from the Biden Justice Department. He was a senior political appointee in the number 3 office to resurrect this zombie case against Trump based upon a bogus legal theory. This is a bookkeeping misdemeanor at best. It's not even a bookkeeping misdemeanor because there's no intent to defraud, but this is a bookkeeping misdemeanor at best that they have transformed into using federal election law and maybe state election law and maybe state tax crimes to turn into this zombie case against Trump, these 34 felonies, and they are before this Manhattan Democrat judge, Juan Merchan, who donated to President Biden in 2020 and donated to another anti-Trump group in 2020. And importantly, whose adult daughter, Lauren Merchan, is a top Democrat campaign consultant who has worked for Biden and Harris and many others. And she has raised $100 million off of this criminal prosecution, this unprecedented criminal trial over which her father is presiding. Judge Merchan clearly has to recuse under New York law, and he's refusing to do that, even after a Clinton judge, a former Clinton judge, federal judge on the Southern District of New York, went on CNN, Caitlin Collins' show on April 5th, and probably stunned Caitlin Collins by saying, yes, Judge Merchan needs to recuse under New York law. He is not recused. And what is Judge Merchan's response? What is Bragg's response? What is Matthew Colangelo's response to Trump raising this clear evidence of a biased prosecutor, a biased judge? Their response is putting this illegal, unconstitutional gag order on a criminal defendant. If there's anyone on the planet who must have the constitutional rights under the First, Sixth, and 14th Amendments to speak out against the judge, against the prosecutor, against their staffs, against the witnesses, against the process, it is a criminal defendant. And that is amplified when you have a criminal defendant who is a presidential candidate, particularly when the law system, the law enforcement, the legal system has been politicized and weaponized against this criminal defendant on so many fronts. This is so unconstitutional what they're doing. This is illegal. It's criminal what they're doing. This is a criminal conspiracy to violate President Trump's and so many others' civil rights and to interfere in the election. And right now, they're not going to face consequences. And all they care about is getting a criminal conviction before November 5th, 2024. They don't care if they get reversed on appeal. Jack Smith proved that with former Virginia Governor Bob McDonnell in 2016. He got a bogus conviction of McDonnell, a likely presidential or vice presidential candidate, took him out politically. The Supreme Court reversed unanimously. It was 8-0. It would have been 9-0, but Justice Scalia passed away. It is very hard to get reversed unanimously. It is, it's just impossible for that to happen, but for the fact that Jack Smith is a buffoon, and so is Matthew Colangelo and Alvin Bragg and Fani Willis and Tish James. This is all lawfare against Trump. They only care about interfering in the election by getting a criminal conviction. They don't care if they get reversed by the Supreme Court 2 years from now.
So we've covered with great detail the the insanity of this case. And the question that I have for you is, how do we stop it? Right? Like that's a strategic question, right? So it's like, do you just never live in a blue city anymore? Do you not live in a blue state anymore? Like the precedent that's being set is so horrifying. I don't know how anyone could ever live in New York any longer or ever take the Justice Department seriously ever again.
Well, the House Republicans should look. I've been saying this for 2 years that this was going to happen, right? And House Republicans have controlled the House. What the hell have they done? Where are the subpoenas? Where are the appropriations writers to cut off this lawfare and election interference? Where are the oversight hearings? Where the hell is Jim Jordan? Where is the Appropriations Committee? Why have they allowed this to happen? These are Republic-ending tactics by these Democrat prosecutors and these Democrat judges and these Democrat hellholes in New York, D.C., and Atlanta. This is driven by Biden. Biden has his fingerprints on all 4 of these criminal prosecutions. Again, Colangelo deployed from the Biden White House or the Biden Justice Department, the number 3 office in the Biden Justice Department, to resurrect Bragg's zombie case. Jonathan Sue, Biden's deputy White House counsel, waived President Trump's constitutional claim of executive privilege going back 250 years to George Washington. On behalf of Biden, Sue waived Trump's claim of executive privilege. That led to the Mar-a-Lago raid. That led to Jack Smith's 2 indictments, one for presidential records Trump is allowed to have in the office of former president under the Presidential Records Act, and another for January 6th for objecting to a presidential election, which is allowed by the Electoral Count Act of 1887. Twisting arms politically is allowed by the First Amendment. Democrats are not in jail for objecting to Republican wins in 1968, 2000, 2004, and 2016. And the same thing down in Georgia. Fulton County DA Fannie Willis, Big Fannie, with her dumb, unqualified boyfriend, Nathan Wade, she hired, paid him $250 an hour, $700,000. She had a financial stake, an illegal financial stake. This guy is so stupid, this Nathan Wade. He actually billed the taxpayers his 2 meetings with the Biden White House, including the Biden White House counsel, 16 hours at $250 an hour before Big Fannie brought her dumb indictment against Trump for January 6th. That proves that Biden has his fingerprints on all 4 of these criminal prosecutions. This is obviously lawfare. This is obviously election interference. Where the hell are the House Republicans? Why are they funding this? Why are they allowing this to happen? Why aren't they having oversight hearings? Why aren't they cutting off their appropriations? Why aren't they doing more to stop this, right? And I'll tell you this. This is backfiring spectacularly on these Democrats, thanks to the Article 3 project doing over 3,000 media hits on this since the Mar-a-Lago raid 21 months ago, and constant opinion pieces in social media as the lonely voice out there going on shows like yours, Ben, to get out this message, right? There are going to be consequences when President Trump is back in the White House on January 20th, 2025. This is a criminal conspiracy by these Democrat prosecutors, these Democrat judges, these Democrat witnesses, these Democrat operatives. This is a criminal conspiracy to violate President Trump's civil rights, the civil rights of Walt Nada, the civil rights of 18 co-defendants down in Georgia. And guess what, guys? There is going to be severe legal, political, and financial consequences for this. We're not going to turn the other cheek. They can go to hell.
Yeah, good. Okay, so again, we have the clips of your comments on this show causing multiple MSNBC anchors to piss their pants. They are very, very scared of a acting attorney general, Mike Davis. I continue. We know the problem, right? It's important strategically. We know the problem. How do you prevent the problem? Now, how do you punish people for their acts here? That's the question. How would you do it, Mike?
The left today's left, they're not liberals who love America and just disagree with conservatives on the best way to get there. They're leftist, they're Marxist, they hate America. They're trying to destroy America. They hate free speech. They believe in censorship. They hate equality. They believe in equity. They hate due process. They believe in politicized and weaponized justice and Me Too presumption of guilt. They can go to hell. They need a healthy dose of their own medicine. I call it the dead chicken strategy. They don't respect reason. They only respect power. So they're going to get a healthy dose of power come January 20th, 2025.
Okay, so final question I have for you, and it's kind of the first question I asked you, but you have these clips of Jimmy Kimmel live action role playing Donald Trump getting killed in prison, right? Like they're excited about it. They're excited about it. Benny Thompson comes out and says, we're going to strip Donald. He mentions Trump. He says, we're going to take away his Secret Service. We're going to make sure we put him in jail, and we're going to take away his Secret Service. Elon Musk called it assassination via legislation, and they're being quite open about it. What happens if Donald Trump goes to prison?
If he goes to prison, our country is going to end. These are republic ending tactics. The American people are not going to accept that Democrat prosecutors and Democrat judges and Democrat witnesses and Democrat jurors and Democrat holes like New York, D.C., and Atlanta get to decide the presidential election. They don't want to cross this Rubicon because you know what? There will be the most severe legal, political, and financial consequences they can ever imagine.
Mike, we know that you are one of the very few fighters out there, and it's remarkable because you've been the lone voice crying out about this, and you've been right. You have been right, and we never, ever go back on a promise that we've made to you. And last time you were on the program, we said we promised, one, that we would tell everyone to follow you on X, and then two, that avatar potentially needs to change. And so we've made you a new avatar for your X profile, which is actually just a photograph. I think it's a photograph that I took of you when you were working in the Senate for Chuck Grassley, and getting votes for Donald Trump's Supreme Court. And this is another one, just a potential, just one for, just a potential, got the chess piece and everything set up. I think this is you on a Saturday night back in Iowa, but it's, this is, again, like these are just photos for my iPhone roll, but would make great avatars.
I look pretty jacked there. I'll take it. So if I lost about 30 pounds and started working out again, I would look like that.
Everybody go and follow Mike, obviously, on X. Here's his account. The Article 3 Project, such an important organization and such an important vector for us to get truth out there about this lawfare. And Mike's quite literally been the first guy through the wall and the only guy through the wall on this issue. So support Mike.
Thank you, Ben.
God bless you, Mike. We'll send you those avatars. I like the one with the gold chain. I like that. I like this one. I like that. The one with the gold chain is the one I hope Mike chooses. But we're happy. This is I'm no lawyer, right? This is what we can contribute to the movement. And so if this, like, Mike is obviously a genius legal professional, and this is our contribution to the movement for Mike, obviously, and then also platforming Mike Davis. Mike Davis was talking about the use of power and how you have to have power, and you must be able to use that power against your enemies and give them a taste of their own medicine. Ladies and gentlemen, the medicine that delivers us power in the morning is our Blackout Coffee. It's sitting right here in our Sweet Benny Brigade mug with our Salty Army tank on the front of it. Blackout Coffee, 100% committed to American values, 100% against the communists. They hate the communists. Some communist countries grow some good coffee. Not to be found in your Blackout Coffee bag. It's a family-owned business, and it is so choice. It really does truly power our show. And this is like a morning show that needs some extra coffee. We've been plowing through our brigade shells this morning. Go to blackoutcoffee.com/Benny. Use the coupon code Benny for 20% off your first order. Blackoutcoffee.com/Benny. Be awake, not woke. Ooh, baby, man, we got some wokeness actually here with AOC and Joe Biden yesterday. So, interesting situation yesterday. Joe Biden is trying to split the baby when it comes to Israel and Palestine and the radical Frankenstein-style corpse that has taken over his party. And why do I say Frankenstein? The story of Frankenstein is a kind of crazy doctor, scientist, who put together a monster out of a reanimated corpse. And then the monster turns on him and the entire town. And then you get your Frankenstein monster, okay? Lumbering around like John Fetterman. And they have created a monster of their left flank with quite literally like a terrorist wing of the Democrat Party. I've seen it up close. We're going to go see it today in Tampa. There's going to be like some faction protesting against Joe Biden's visit today in Tampa. So we're going to go talk. We're going to talk to these people. Okay, pray for us. But they don't know how to handle this because Joe Biden needs to win Michigan, and they have obviously brought in large Muslim populations into that state. He needs to win Michigan, but Joe Biden also can't lose like vast swaths of support that he enjoys among Jewish communities. So what you going to do here? It's a tough position. AOC praises pro-Palestinian protesters who have taken over Ivy League campuses. Biden says, listen to that lady. Well, here's AOC saying that, and this puts Joe Biden in a tough position.
It is especially important that we remember the power of young people shaping this country today, of all days, as we once again witness the leadership of those peaceful student-led protests on campuses like Columbia, Yale, Berkeley, and many others.
So Joe Biden's tactic endorsement of this is not going over well. There have been a ton of donors that have obviously divested from these organizations. Joe Biden can't lose his left flank, even though they hate him, and doesn't know what to do. There's no strategy here. There is no strategy. The strategy is lock up Donald Trump. The strategy is lock up Donald Trump. And by the way, these are the same protesters that cheered when they stripped down American flag. We got the video. They're like cheering when they take down the American, so rip down the American flag and light it on fire. And this is who Joe Biden is endorsing. These people. So there you are. If you vote for them, you are voting for the end of the Republic. If you vote for them also, you're voting for a Visiting Angels ad. This is AOC from yesterday. Looks exactly like a Visiting Angels ad, as AOC looks like the night nurse doing a stroll through the butterfly garden with Joe Biden and Bernie Sanders, combined age of 492.
Mr. President!
So that's at the White House. Interesting. There's a little playground at the White House. People often ask me, what would you ask Joe Biden if you were in the same elevator with him, right? If you're in the same room as him. If you got one question, it's a tough one. It's a really, really tough one, right? Truly, I would have to soul search. But one that comes to mind, if I had a camera trained on me, and if I was standing face to face with Joe Biden, and one I think would really pack a punch as I look at the little playground there at the White House is, how many grandkids you got? How many grandchildren do you have? One, I think it would obviously betray Biden's senility. And then two, it would put Joe Biden in a tough spot because he refuses to acknowledge his legitimate grandchild, or illegitimate grandchild, but either way, his genetic grandchild that Hunter Biden sired with a stripper. And you go after Donald Trump for paying off a porn star, even though everyone denies it. Well, you can't deny the genetic byproduct of Hunter Biden impregnating a stripper. Not trying to be cruel here. The child's name is Navy Joan Roberts. The person being cruel is Joe Biden, who refuses to hang a stocking for this child. And that would, let's say Joe Biden's in Tampa today. Let's say I literally came face to face with Joe Biden, and I got 2 seconds to ask a question. That might be it. That might be it. And the response to that, no matter what he says, the response to that would go thermonuclear, right? Put him in a really tough position. That would probably be me. What would you ask Joe Biden if you got a chance? If you came face to face with somebody who's, that famous. Alec Baldwin is very famous. Alec Baldwin, speaking of Hamasnik protesters, came in contact with a raging Hamas protester yesterday in New York and then ended up punching the phone out of that person's hand as they began screaming "Free Palestine." Ooh, baby, there's so many reasons to not live in New York, and this is a good one. Okay, so not even Alec Baldwin is safe. Here's our and actually, you know, I gotta be honest. What a remarkable thing this clip is, because you're actually getting conservative sympathy for Alec Baldwin. Alec Baldwin, like, is facing, I think he's facing manslaughter charges over the killing of a cinematographer on his set. Hayanna Hutchins is her name. Alec Baldwin regularly attacks the press and the media. He's clearly, like, got a screw loose. He's end-stage Trump derangement syndrome, Alec Baldwin. But even I feel kind of bad for the guy. He's trying to get a cup of coffee, and you got one of these psychotic Palestine protesters coming after him and sort of uniting conservatives to his cause when he smashes her phone. All right. Here's our Salt That Lib for the day. You're going to like this one. Let's go.
Please say Free Palestine one time. Why did you kill that lady? You killed that lady and got no jail time? No jail time, Alec? No jail time, Alec. You're putting innocent people in jail, Alec Baldwin. I'm so sorry. Free Palestine, Alec, just one time, and I'll leave you alone. I'll leave you alone, I swear. Just say Free Palestine one time. One time. One time.
Call the police.
One time, Alec. You know he's a criminal. You know he's a fucking criminal. Come on, Alec, just say Free Palestine one time. One time, just one time, please. And I'll leave you alone. Free Palestine. Fuck Israel, fuck Zionism. Please say it. One time.
Could you do me one quick favor?
I want to say, producer Danny, that cafe has great croissants. Have you been there, Danny? I would take some salt with my croissant. I want to thank one of the brigade members for 3D printing us. You can see the Benny Show, there's like a Benny Show logo at the bottom. 3D printing us a salt shaker. Can I get the name of the spectacular brigade member? I just want to say thank you on air here. This has been, we were offline. We wanted to debut this thing. We were offline last week for most of the week. Dennis, we want to thank Dennis for his 3D printing of our official Benny Brigade salt shaker. We haven't filled it with salt just yet. I think that might not be allowed because we get salt all over our studio and all over the electronics. But we got a salt shaker sent to us from Dennis. And so we say thank you, Dennis. It has the Brigade logo on it. It's got the Benny logo on it, and his wife, Kathy. So Dennis and Kathy, they emailed us and they said, we're going to make you a giant salt shaker. Don't let, this is the prototype, but we need something better. Couldn't find, it's really hard. You can't find an oversized salt shaker. They don't sell them. It's not like a prop that they sell. And so Dennis and Kathy, do we have photos? They sent us photos of them making it, right? Pretty awesome. They sent us these photos of them actually making the salt shaker for our Salt That Lib. So the salt must flow. And Dennis and Kathy are great Americans, and we say thank you for assisting us with our oversized 3D printed salt shaker that they made by hand. Don't ever let them tell you America ain't a great country. America's still a great country. People can 3D print giant salt shaker for our Salt That Lib segment. What other country would allow you to 3D print a salt shaker for Salt That Lib segment? Check this out. This is a photo of the Benny salt shaker getting 3D printed by Dennis and Kathy. Again, great Americans. What a fun show. What an exciting show, ladies and gentlemen. What an exciting time, obviously, to be alive. We want to make sure that you are protected. Part of the way to protect you is to have community, quite frankly. We want to have community. We want to be able to have our salty libs, to laugh a little bit, to have some esprit de corps with your fellow Americans. Like, that's really important because we live in like a really we live in a sometimes depressing time. It's tough to do shows like this, right? There are a lot of bad things happening. One of them was the FISA renewal FISA 702 allows for the government to spy on you through your phone. You heard Mike Davis go guns a-blazing, not just his avatar, but go guns a-blazing against sort of the do-nothing Republican Congress, and metaphorically blasting them for allowing government to spy on you. And not just that, but like Mike Johnson literally was the deciding vote to allow this to happen. It had been defeated, in fact. Mike Johnson was the deciding vote to not just reauthorize the allowance of the spy tactics that got Donald Trump spied on in his campaign that started Russiagate, but to amplify them. Your privacy is obviously something protected by the Constitution. It's something that we need to hold sacred, something that our friends at Silent hold sacred. Silent is an incredible company that has these like super lightweight Faraday sleeves that you put your phones into, and it stops wireless signals from getting into your phones. It goes like that. Boom. And you got your phone in there. You can travel with security. Everybody that I knew that traveled internationally with the Trump team, like they know that these foreign governments are just scraping their phones. That's why you're not allowed to take your cell phone to China if you work for the federal government. Did you know that? If you work for the federal government, you're not allowed to have like certain apps on your phone. You're not allowed to take your phone internationally because they'll just take everything from it. And this is like part of statecraft. Silent makes sure that geo-tracking and harmful radiation exposing from your phone stops. Protect yourself. Silent offers an efficient and easy solution to protect your location and personal data. Go to silent.com, slnt.com/Benny. Save 15% on shipping on qualified orders. slnt.com/Benny for 15% off all qualified orders. All right. I'm sure that Alec Baldwin wishes that he had a silent bag. Put that lady's phone in so you can access it. We want you to be able to access our phone and our show at all hours of the day. Go to BennyJohnson.com for the official Benny Brigade. Sign up. Please sign up today. Support our work. Help keep us independent and help like push this show forward. We are very rare in the space where we are not a show that is owned and operated by some massive corporation with shareholders. We like being independent. We like staying that way. And the way that we do that is support from you for the cost of a large fried Chick-fil-A. Large Chick-fil-A fry, $5 a month. That's what it costs for a large Chick-fil-A fry and Polynesian sauce. And that's what it costs to join the Benny Brigade. So join us today and join the Salty Army. Salt shaker. We love that salt shaker. Thank you again, Dennis and Kathy. Your verse of the day from Psalm 27. The Lord is my light and my salvation. Whom shall I fear? The Lord is the stronghold in life. Whom shall I be afraid? Don't be afraid. Don't be afraid. Like live in salvation. Live at peace. Like what happens, all right? And God's in control. And it's a good thing. It like makes for a good life. And there are like little and precious things that you shouldn't miss in life by worrying yourself, right, to death over stuff that, quite frankly, you can't control. And so be at peace, right? It's the sign. It's the sign of somebody who truly loves the Lord. Be at peace, ladies and gentlemen, and walk forward in victory, the victory that is assured to us. It's your boy Benny. See ya.